Let's think back to a time when we were children. Was there ever a time when you considered learning as being fun? Did you ever take a school bus ride into the human body to see how digestion worked? Well, then you've never experienced the Magic School Bus. This is a series that is written by Joanna Cole. It is geared towards school-age children. According to www.commonsensemedia.com, accessed on February 28th of 2021, it states, "Parents, let's carry on the tradition that this beloved book began." This crazy, wild Miss Frizzle takes her students on daring adventures, teaching them and the viewers science as they go on their way. So let's take a look at who created the Magic School Bus series. Let's also look at the educational information presented in this series, and let's learn a little bit about the characters. So the first thing we're going to look at is who, in fact, did create the Magic School Bus. This was Joanna Cole. Joanna Cole attributed a lot of her passion to an elementary school teacher. In fact, she based the main character, Miss Frizzle, off of that same teacher who became very famous later on in the series. She also hit a gold mine whenever she created her first Magic School Bus series in 1985. She started off with one book, then it led into a series, and then eventually turned into a cartoon based off of its success. She in fact wrote over 250 books, and her first book was named Cockroach, and then she ended on the Magic School Bus and just kept creating those same similar books ever since. This is according to www.satori.com. So now let's take a look into the educational information presented in this series. So a lot of the educational information is actually science-based. So I'm just going to name a few of the episodes that present some information. So one of the first episodes is called Lost in Space. So Miss Frizzle takes her students on a daring adventure into outer space where they learn all about the solar system, they learn about all of the planets. She then also wants to teach her students what the world would be like without gravity, and it's called Plays Ball is the name of the series. So basically, she takes the kids and she squeezes the bus down into a really tiny size, and they jump into one of the students' textbooks and they fly in. They start to play ball, and then all of a sudden, things start to go haywire. The book shoves itself, like the cover on itself, and they have to figure out a way to get out of the book, but they're teeny tiny. So the series kind of takes them through that journey. The last episode that I'm going to talk about is called Ralphie. It's called Inside Ralphie. So Ralphie is a student. He calls Miss Frizzle and he says, "Hey, Miss Frizzle, I'm sick. I can't make it to school." And so Miss Frizzle says, "Well, Ralphie, we're going to bring school to you." So she takes all of her kids on the school bus. She drives to Ralphie's house. She sets up this camera and this news production, and they go inside Ralphie's body. They learn all about red blood cells, white blood cells, the functions of the cells. And that is from the source magicschoolbusfandom.com. So now that we have taken a look at the history behind the series, we've also taken a look at the educational information presented. Let's learn a little bit about the characters. According to self.gutenberg.org, one of the first characters we're going to talk about is Miss Frizzle. She's this red-haired, kind of crazy. She wears cool clothes that usually show the objectives that are going to be learned in that lesson. Her earrings, in fact, glow, little lightning bolts. They glow really bright right before they go on a field trip. She's fun. She's eccentric. They actually call her Miss Fizz. The next character we're going to talk about is a chameleon called Liz. Liz sort of takes over the class as a substitute teacher whenever Miss Frizzle has to leave for like a brief period of time. Liz can get into dangerous situations, but they're usually pretty comical. The last character we're going to talk about is a student named Army. So this kid is actually an American Jewish kid who sort of is a coward, but he's not really a coward. They just kind of look at him that way. But he actually does a lot more braver acts that he doesn't always get credit for. So he also is very smart. In fact, they call him a genius because he always has really bright ideas. So far, we have looked at the history behind the author, we have looked at the educational information presented, and we have also looked at the different characters in this series. So this series began as a book, and then it evolved into a cartoon, and it's reached the world. A lot of students have actually seen this cartoon. Joanna Cole recently died on July 12th of 2021. Joanna Cole left behind a legacy. In fact, in one of the more recent interviews done before her death, according to www.pbs.org, Joanna states that Johanna states that a few of the young people had gone up to her and told her that they had become scientists and they were inspired by her book series. And she also stated that she is very proud of the legacy that she has left behind.